Our strategic plan requires a level-headed approach, focused not on emotional reaction, but on achieving impactful and durable results. We are approaching several critical junctures. This crisis is not of our making. It results directly from the government's decisions, a regime intent on retaining power at any cost, even if it means undermining the will of the Georgian people and deepening our national crisis. The first phase spans the next 2 months, up to the new year. Our core objective during this period is to challenge the legitimacy of the elections. Currently, while these elections lack genuine legitimacy domestically, the international community has not yet formally recognized or denounced them. Therefore, securing an investigation into these elections is imperative. Our goal is to present not fragmented evidence, but an overarching narrative that demonstrates the systematic nature of this electoral fraud. For our international allies, including observer missions, it may be difficult to grasp the scale of manipulation, such as the misappropriation of 200,000 votes. However, by showing that the entire state apparatus with institutional resources, access to personal data, and governmental infrastructure was mobilized to serve a single political party, we reveal the full extent of this breach. This is about a state apparatus, from security forces to the judiciary, the prosecutor's office, revenue services, and the Ministry of Finance, operating as partisan instruments. Our objective is to convey to international stakeholders that this manipulation, rooted in state resources, had a direct and consequential impact on the election's outcome. By driving this narrative, we expedite the formation of an international stance that could result in concrete measures, either a large-scale recount or a fresh election. However, both options hold meaning only under a newly structured Central Election Commission, (SEC), and a reformed State Security Service. Anything less would be insufficient. Our country now faces a multidimensional crisis. 1. A crisis of political isolation impacting our foreign relations. 2. An economic crisis. 3. A security crisis. Addressing the political isolation requires a strategic framework, which we are actively developing. As we move beyond this 2-month period, we will work closely with European partners to ensure that any actions targeting this illegitimate parliament and government do not impact Georgian citizens. We face a stark choice: either impose substantial restrictions that would hinder every Georgian citizen, such as the suspension of visa-free travel and other critical freedoms, or impose targeted consequences on individuals who have directly participated in undermining democratic governance and jeopardizing our European future. Economically, we must acknowledge that as political isolation intensifies, serious disruptions will follow. The stability of the Georgian lari, the resilience of our financial systems, foreign direct investment, and inter-business relations will all face immediate challenges. The effects on our economy will be swift and severe, impacting remittances from Europe. After the Ukraine war, the flow of remittances from Russia has decreased, with Italy and Germany now leading in remittances, an economic lifeline that could be jeopardized. Our financial system stability is now in question. The National Bank has already deployed vast reserves to stabilize the lari, far surpassing what was spent during the COVID crisis. The persistence of political isolation will inevitably lead to economic repercussions, further depleting our reserves, fueling inflation, and driving up unemployment, direct consequences that our people will experience. On the matter of national security, consider Georgia without the strategic umbrella provided by the European Union and the United States, which have supported not only our territorial integrity and sovereignty, but also our operational security. Imagine the resulting power vacuum where major regional powers, with vested interests, seize the opportunity to extract Georgia from its European context and reduce it to a typical Middle Eastern territory, an unregulated gray zone where Russia, Iran, China, and others can freely operate. This is an existential threat, especially amid today's escalating global tensions. Through their actions, this administration is positioning our country, not as a neutral party, but as an active participant in these global confrontations. Therefore, given that the current regime is fixated solely on retaining power and safeguarding illicitly acquired assets, we must urgently develop and implement strategies to counter political, economic, and security isolation. We are currently in the initial phase of this crisis, lasting 2 months, focused primarily on questions of legitimacy. Following this, we enter a second phase, one in which we confront the broader consequences of isolation on our political, economic, and security spheres. Our response will be critical.